friends, and welcome to STEAM Time with Sarah. My name is Sarah, and I'm a STEAM educator at the Greensboro Children's Museum. I know that this time of year, a lot of you are going back to school, and some of you are going to school for the first time. One of my favorite parts about going back to school was always new school supplies. So I decided that today we could create a back to school activity using duct tape and a plain folder. Follow along with me to see how. You will need a plain folder, scissors, and some colorful duct tape. I begin with a plain folder. This folder does not have pockets, and it also has a tab on the side that I don't really like to use for school folders. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off the tab. If you need to use a ruler to make sure that your cutting is straight, then that's perfectly fine. If you don't have a ruler on hand, it's pretty easy to cut a straight line on the side of your folder. You will then begin to cut strips of duct tape. I chose 2 different colors of duct tape, but you could use 3, 4, or even 5 different colors. It depends on how you want your folder to look. I tried cutting about 4-inch strips of duct tape, but it really doesn't matter how long or how short you make your strips. Again, it just depends on how you want your folder to look. This part takes quite a bit of time. Just make sure you're cutting as neatly as possible. It gets a little difficult because the tape wants to stick to your fingers and to the scissors, so just take your time. After you've cut your strips of duct tape, it's time to put the pieces of tape onto your folder. You can choose any pattern or any shape you want to put on your folder with the tape. So as you're putting the tape on, it's okay for the pieces of tape to hang off of the sides. In fact, when we're finished, it's going to make the folder look a lot better. Continue putting the tape on your folder until the entire top part of your folder has been covered in the duct tape. When you've covered the front of your folder, you're going to notice that you have a lot of pieces of duct tape hanging off of the side. This is a really simple fix because all you have to do is open your folder and carefully cut around the sides of the folder where the pieces of duct tape are hanging off. The only part of the duct tape that I did not cut off was in the center of the folder where the folder folds in half. Instead of cutting, I decided to fold over the duct tape. That way the middle of the folder is a little more sturdy and it's less likely to rip. After folding down those pieces, I begin to cut around the sides of the folder just like I showed you before. When I get to the part that had the tab, you'll notice there's a little gap there in the folder, and I don't want that to be there. So instead of cutting around where the hole is, I'm cutting over it in a straight line because I want my folder to have straight edges instead of that indentation there. You'll see that I have cut the duct tape straight where there's an indentation in the folder. That part is obviously sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off a strip that's around the same length as the inside of the folder, and I'm going to place it over the edge where the duct tape is facing upward and it's sticky. So that way you won't have to worry about your folder sticking together, and you also get kind of a neat liner on the inside of your folder. Now flipping your folder over, you already have some pieces of duct tape that you've folded. You're just going to start adding more duct tape in a similar pattern as to how you did on the front. Once the entire back end of your folder has been covered with duct tape, you're going to do just like you did on the front. Open the folder up and carefully cut around the sides where you have pieces of duct tape hanging over. This will make your folder look extra neat. After cutting off all of the edges, I'm going to add some more tape to the other side of my folder to match the liner on the opposite side of the folder. After doing this, you can add a pocket if you choose to. There are many different ways to add pockets with duct tape. I took a larger piece of duct tape and carefully placed it on the bottom of my folder. After putting that piece of duct tape on the bottom of my folder, I taped down the corners and started pulling upward, so that way it kind of gave it a pocket look. I then put duct tape on the back of the other side of the tape so it wouldn't stick to the folder. You're going to keep adding more and more duct tape to build your pocket up exactly to the length that you want it to be. Once your pocket is as tall as you would like for it to be, grab a strip of duct tape that's around the same length as your pocket, maybe a little bit longer, and you're going to add one more layer over your liner on the side of your folder. This will keep your pocket from flapping open and making your pieces of paper fall out. Do one last trim around the edges to get that extra piece of tape off of the side. And there you have your pocket to hold your extra pieces of paper in your folder. If you make a neat school supply craft similar to this one, we would love to see it. Please post pictures or videos onto our social media, our Facebook or our Instagram. We'll see you next time.